Grandma, it's me, Anastasia. This is the top class entertainment you get when you come here. Yay. Dear good everyone, welcome back to my sitting room. My name is Diesel and you are as always most welcome. I have to apologise in advance because once again I have a mouth ulcer, so I will probably grit my teeth way more than necessary. Is it ever necessary? I'm not sure. And also there'll be things like when I say "de" instead of "there," which really hurts. I'm just embracing my inner dub or something like that. So it hurts less to not, or hurts less to pretend that THs don't exist. So recently I went to see The Fifth Wave. And I wanted to talk to you about it because you are my favourite people to discuss adaptations with, and movies, and also books. You know the drill, let's just get straight to it. So as we transition into the fact that there's no bloody THs in any of my sentences, I'm going to assume that you're here because you know what the Fifth Wave is, and I don't have to explain it to you, unless you're just here because you love me, in which case, thank you. So I'm just going to get straight to the thoughts about the movie. The first thing I will note is it was rated 12A, something like that, which I didn't know until I'd gone into the theatre, and then was like, oh, because you guys will know if you have read The Fifth Wave, it's pretty, like, it's funny and comical, but it's dark as F. Like, it's quite tragic. I know a lot of people struggle to get through the first couple of chapters because it's tough going. And when I saw 12s, I just thought, like, oh no, like, it's not gonna be The Fifth Wave, because how could it be? It's too bleak. Not that I think they dumb things down for 12-year-olds, because that's insulting to 12-year-olds, but they kind of do. They, they're not going to show, like, Cassie's mom, like, bleeding out of different orifices. I can't even say words. Because that would be gross and awful and terrifying. And, like, in the movie, or in the book, Cassie's mom is sick for a while. In the movie, 1 minute she's alive, and the next minute they're burying her or laying, like, flowers on her grave. I had a lot of problems with this movie, actually. I kind of go into adaptations with a very low expectation because you never know. Movies are never as good as the book. The only time I've ever seen a movie be better than the book was The Giver, and I've said that before. So I kind of went into this thinking, alright. But then Rick Yancey had been on set quite a lot for this movie, so I kind of had a hope that maybe it was going to be okay. Fortunately, all the things that I loved about The Fifth Wave were completely kicked out. For me, the very essence of The Fifth Wave are the human relationships in it, because Cassie's always talking about how the aliens are trying to take away people's humanity. So the relationships between the humans in it are really, really important, and they're ingrained throughout the whole book. The first relationship I had a problem with was Cassie and Ben's relationship. In the book, Cassie talks about how she has a crush on Ben, but he doesn't really know she exists, and it's like a joke then when they meet again, where she's like, we went to high school together, and he's like, okay. But in the movie, there's like, one of the opening scenes is her and him, like, having this, oh, we know each other moment over a phone case. Don't get me started on the phone case. There's so much ridiculous dialogue in this movie, it hurts my soul. So that kind of took the comical aspect out of it almost immediately, because Cassie and Ben's relationship when they meet in The Fifth Wave is hilarious. The second relationship that completely got glossed over, which is my favourite relationship and one of the most important ones, I think, is Cassie and Evan. They changed Evan into, like, this pretty boy hero. He was really ripped and, like, I don't know, there was no kind of soul behind him. Their relationship kind of goes from distrust to suddenly being okay with each other, or her being okay with him. And like, they have, their relationship doesn't build, it just kind of is one way and then suddenly changes. And Evan has none of his fantastic Evan creepiness, which we all know and love from the Fifth Wave. And also there's these really weird and unnecessary scenes. Like at one point, she watches him washing in a river, and they like pan down his abs and stuff, and you're kind of like, what is this for? Is just for the sole purpose that you want like teenage girls to sit there giggling behind their popcorn, or is this meant to be progressing the story? It's pretty obvious which one it is. And then like they meet in this abandoned car, and out of nowhere they just start making out, and then they like lie back in the car to insinuate they had sex, I suppose, or something, I don't know. But it's, again, it's like, oh, what's happening part of the movie if you're like 14. I'm not 14, so it did not have quite the same effect. And then they changed Evan into this weird, like, Edward Cullen character. Like, he jumps 10 feet in the air, there's like this lightning flash that, I don't know, accentuates him or something, and he's throwing people like really far, and he's a ninja. It was just like, Twilight did that. We didn't like it then. Well, I didn't like it then. Stop it. I thought the relationship between Cassie and Evan was just kind of cheapened to this, like, oh, look, it's a love story, start the love triangle, kind of moment. And like, even when she finds out what he really is, and she goes off to the arm base, and she's already been like, if you follow me, I'll kill you. And then he suddenly turns up, and she's not annoyed at all, and is making out with him like 2 seconds later. It's like, come on. This is not what this book is about. Also, Ben or Zombie's storyline revolves a lot around being in the child army, and his relationship with his troop is super important in the book. You totally get to know all of the members that are in his troop, and you care about them. You see their personalities, you see some of them are quite young, and they're obviously not ready to be in that environment, and you really get to know them, and they become a vital part of the story. But in the movie, it was just so glossed over. Like, the only indication that you had that these kids were in Ben's troop is because they sit around playing like poker. And like at one point one of them dies. And if that had been the book, I would have been like, oh my god. But in the movie, I was just like, I don't even know which one that was. And I don't care, because you're not given a chance to care about any of these characters. Also, the portrayal of Ringer. They turned Ringer into like this whiny, like, girl who wears way too much black makeup and has kind of like the Janice Ian hair from Mean Girls, and they basically tried to make her to seem like this really angry emo girl. And I was an emo girl in my days, so first of all, shitty portrayal, thanks. But that's not how I picture Ringer at all. Like, Ringer was a badass, and she was obviously super skilled with a gun, and she was highly intelligent and just so brave and kick ass. And they kind of just reduced her into like this, like, oh, I don't know, even when she was delivering her hilarious sexist remark, like she punched the guy in the throat or something, whatever she did to him, and she was like, any sexist remarks, blah blah. Even that was a bit like, okay, it was funny, but she just, I don't know if it was the actress or the portrayal, it just didn't fit at all. Plus her voice really annoyed me, which is petty, but it did. Then there was Vosh. The guy who played Vosh was aesthetically really good, I think. But the justice didn't, the movie didn't give Vosh the character justice he deserved. Like, they just, okay, you can kind of tell he's slightly evil, but Vosh is terrifying in The Fifth Wave, in the book. Like, he's a creepy guy, and you're just like, oh, I don't trust any of these people. But I never really got that for Vosh in the movie. You're just kind of like, okay, typical drill sergeant, possibly a bit mental. Like, I don't know. I just think the movie didn't do him justice. And there was really, like, one thing that really pissed me off, which is petty AF, but it did. Chloe's hair. She's meant to be this kid who's living day to day on the road trying to not get killed. And her hair is perfect every day. And she just looks like she's had it professionally styled. No matter where she wakes up, whether it's in the middle of the woods or in a bed or whatever. It really agitated me. Really agitated me. It's little things in life, you guys. Really agitated. I just was not impressed with this book at all. I think they really kind of... Not the book, sorry. Was not impressed with this movie. I think the people went into it thinking, okay, a YA novel that lots of people like, well, it's worked for Allegiant, or it's worked for Divergent, it's worked for Twilight, it's worked for Hunger Games, grab it, let's go. And they went about it completely wrong, which was just to turn it into like a teen movie there would be like a little love triangle and people would be like, oh, this is amazing, instead of actually giving it like the movie that it deserved. Like at one point at the end when Evan blows up the army base, obviously you are led to think that he has also blown up because he was in the building, but he's never mentioned again. Kathy never mentions him again, which is really effed up. It's like she doesn't care. Like, 5 minutes ago you were making out with him and now he's probably dead and there's not a single word passed about him. It just, like, I don't know. It was not a good portrayal. That book is so good and it had so much potential. But they just... It was like they wanted to make a quick book off a book that they knew was popular. So therefore they just threw it together. And that's so disappointing because, like I said, Rick was on set all the time. He was constantly posting Instagram pictures of him being on set. And he had given them the perfect foundation of these awesome relationships and this amazing world. And they took like the bare bones of his story. Like the outline of what it was about, and then didn't add any of the things in it that makes it great. And it was so frustrating. So frustrating. But then, you know, you've sat here for 15 minutes and watched me rant. So, did you like it? Did you see it? Would you see it again? If there's going to be a second movie, would you see it? I honestly don't think there will be a second movie. I think it's going to be a bit like The Mortal Instruments, when it was just so bad that, you know... Yeah, if you saw it, I would love to know what you thought about it. And did Chloe's hair annoy anyone else as much as it annoyed me? That's all I have to say. I'm going to go now because my mouth really hurts. So until next time, Garev Mahagut for coming. And I have a book review soon. Hallelujah. So I'll see you then. Salon.